That early on in the fight, there was every chance that could happen. But I didn't expect even it to happen that quick. I thought Moses would stop.
A proper, grueling round of sparring. It was brilliant. We're going back and forth, and obviously I got on the GB assessment, but they were impressed from the spar. And then afterwards, I've been told that he's the next future.
And that's what probably surprised. Well, no, probably what surprised me more than anything was the confidence that he had. He was getting it with me. I was world champion at that point, and this young man came in and he really just tried.
Eddie Hearn live reaction to Moses Itauma beating Conor Benn in Sparring Ahead Eubank Jr. fight. Eddie's trying to stay composed, but you can sense the unease in his voice. Moses Itauma didn't just hold his own, he imposed his will. That kind of dominance in sparring doesn't happen by accident, and it raises real questions about Benn's readiness for Eubank Jr.
But he wasn't himself, there's no doubt. But again, you've got to give the credit to Moses for going in and getting the job done in start.
Eddie's trying to sound fair, but his words betray a quiet frustration. Calling the spar not competitive only highlights how one-sided it truly was. Moses Itauma's control forced Eddie into damage control, trying to protect Benn's image while admitting the young heavyweight looked levels above.
So you have to give him credit, and I'm a big fan. I don't want to. When I watched it back, I was like, I saw a few people. Oh, Eddie's a hater. I'm not a hater. I think he's the goods, but I don't think that was good.
That uneasy mix of praise and denial tells you everything. The Benn camp is rattled. Moses Itauma didn't just spar, he made a statement. When Benn asked for the heat, he got burned. Those words, absolute carnage, say it all. Moses imposed his will, dictating the pace and exposing Benn's limits. That kind of sparring doesn't just test you, it humbles you.
Hey Moses, don't take it easy on me. I'm like, alright, cool. We have another scrap, then it's another session, and it was just absolute carnage.
Moses reflects with quiet confidence, knowing those intense sessions told the real story. His poise under pressure and consistency in the gym show maturity beyond his years. Each round sharpened his edge, while Benn's supposed aggression only revealed the gap in class and control between the two.
We done some good rounds. Remember on a Thursday, we done some heavy rounds.
Johnny Nelson highlights the same trait separating great prospects from pretenders: belief. Moses stepped in without hesitation, showing the composure and hunger of someone destined for big nights. Against a name like Conor Benn, that self-assurance becomes dangerous, and right now, Moses owns every ounce of momentum.
That's what probably surprised. Well, no, probably what surprised me more than anything was the confidence that he had. He was getting it with me. I was world champion at that point, and this young man came in and he really just tried to.
Chisora is trying to protect Benn with the classic "it's only sparring" line, but the truth behind those words cuts deeper. In elite gyms, learning moments often mean you've been exposed. Benn's pattern of getting clipped in training shows defensive flaws that can't be brushed off. Moses Itauma's dominance wasn't just about physical power, it was timing, awareness, and composure. When Chisora says it's fine, he's masking concern, because every fighter knows if you're getting dropped in sparring, you're already losing control of the fight before it's even begun.
Good, because that's only sparring. If you get dropped in sparring, it means you're learning. Tomorrow morning you don't get dropped in the same shot. So him getting dropped in sparring, that means he's learning on the job. So it's okay. Who cares? Alexander usually gets dropped in sparring, but he's learning on the job.
Conor Benn's defiance sounds fierce, but it's laced with insecurity. Fighters confident in their preparation don't need to shout threats. They let their aura do the talking. After stories of him being dominated in sparring, Benn's fiery words feel more like self-assurance than intimidation. This is a man trying to rebuild his image, not just his rhythm. Eubank Jr., on the other hand, thrives in these psychological wars. His composure under scrutiny contrasts Benn's forced bravado. You can sense the imbalance, one man calm and focused, the other desperate to convince himself he's still dangerous.
I will dismantle him. I will ruin him. He gets absolutely destroyed. Destroyed. There's no comeback. There will be no comeback after he fights me. When I beat him, I'll put him into an early retirement. I will put him into retirement.
Shannon Briggs gives it a veteran spin, trying to normalize what's been whispered across gyms. Conor Benn has been getting touched up in sparring, but beneath his positive tone lies curiosity, even doubt. When a heavyweight legend says, "We'll see," it's code for uncertainty. Fighters know what those spills really mean. Moments where your timing, reflexes, and confidence take a hit. Briggs respects the grind, but he's also hinting that Benn's preparation hasn't been spotless. And if that's true, Eubank Jr.'s pressure could expose even deeper cracks under the bright lights.
I'm hearing things that he's been dropped in the ring, in the gym and stuff like that. But that's okay too, because I took a couple spills, little slips in the ring, in the gym. That's okay, but we're going to see. This is going to be a good
Chris Eubank Jr. isn't talking like a man chasing headlines. He's talking like a man building a blueprint for destruction. There's precision in his tone, control in his delivery, and confidence in every word. Bringing in Brian Bomack, McIntyre isn't a flashy move, it's a statement of intent. Eubank wants efficiency, not chaos. He's studying Benn's rhythm, his rushes, his emotional patterns. The plan is simple but deadly. Break him down from the inside out. While Benn is reacting to every sparring rumor, Eubank is refining the art of calm violence. That contrast tells you who's truly prepared for the big night. The talk of not wanting it to go 12 isn't arrogance, it's tactical awareness. Eubank doesn't want to leave anything to chance, and with Bomack's discipline system behind him, every round will be calculated pressure. You can feel the maturity. This is no longer the reckless showman. This is the version of Eubank Jr. who's ready to make a statement that echoes through British boxing.
We don't want the fight going 12 rounds. So that means we have to, the best chance of that is to employ a different strategy, have different tactics, have a different mindset on what it is we need to do with Conor Benn in that ring. That's why we brought Bomack.
Johnny Nelson's take brings a fair, balanced lens, but even in his words, you sense doubt about Benn's ceiling. Saying Eubank couldn't get rid of him sounds generous, yet the footage told another story. Eubank controlled tempo, dictated distance, and punished every reckless exchange. Benn's heart has never been in question, but heart alone doesn't win elite-level fights. The technical gap, the composure under fire, and the adaptability that Eubank now shows with Bomack in his corner, those are qualities you can't develop overnight. Benn's hope lies in emotional aggression, but that's exactly what Eubank thrives on dismantling. Nelson's optimism feels more like respect for Benn's toughness than belief in his improvement. When he says he couldn't get rid of it, it sounds like he's protecting Benn from a hard truth, that the rematch could expose the same vulnerabilities again, only this time against an even smarter Eubank Jr.
Do you think Conor Benn will be better in the second fight?
Yes.
Does that mean that you think that by him being better and there's no more left from Chris Eubank, that Conor Benn's able to bridge the gap,
Yes.
get an outcome in his second fight?
Without a doubt.
You do?
He couldn't have done any more. If he could have knocked out Conor in that fight, he would have done.
Yeah.
He just couldn't get rid of him. And Conor stuck it. So regardless of him being surprised that Conor stuck it out a lot more, he couldn't.
Eddie Hearn, however, shifted the discussion completely, his tone reflecting concern hidden behind professionalism. Eddie Hearn's frustration leaks through his words, trying to mask it with professionalism. When he says Eubank Jr. should be here, it's more than just a promotional jab, it's a reflection of how the Benn camp is feeling the pressure. Eubank's silence isn't weakness, it's strategic. He's not chasing interviews because his focus is in the gym, not the cameras. Meanwhile, Hearn's defensive tone shows that the psychological battle is already in motion. The Benn team is trying to control a narrative that's slipping through their fingers. Every quote from Eddie feels like a response to public doubt rather than an expression of confidence. Sick as a parrot might be a British phrase for disappointment, but in this context, it exposes unease. Eubank has turned the mental game in his favor. While Hearn is forced to explain, Eubank is preparing to perform, and that silence from his side, it's the sound of a fighter who knows he doesn't need words to win.
He's a disgrace. The guy, firstly, the guy is not well. Secondly, the guy really should be here. But the fact that he's not involved, the fact that he couldn't take any money, the fact that he couldn't be involved in any decisions, stand in front of the cameras, is making him sick as a parrot.
Tony Bellew's words carry weight because he's been in those trenches. He speaks from experience, but his reasoning feels off, saying the rematch favors Benn because of youth ignores the strategic evolution Eubank has undergone. Age brings wisdom, and Eubank's adjustments after that defeat prove he's no longer the same fighter. His partnership with Bomack isn't about recovery, it's about reinvention. Meanwhile, Benn's youth has shown more recklessness than resilience. Bellew's honesty is respected, but even he sounds uncertain when assessing Benn's actual improvements. For a rematch rematch to favor Ben, he'd need more than freshness. He'd need control, patience, and tactical maturity, traits Eubank now embodies. The reality is, the quicker the rematch comes, the more it benefits Eubank. He's the one riding a wave of momentum, armed with experience and clarity. Ben, despite his hunger, remains a fighter chasing redemption, not dominance. And that's the biggest difference heading into what could define both their legacies.
To 168, he ain't coming back down to 160, so it's got a very short lifespan, this rematch. It's got to be done, the sooner the better. If I'm being brutally honest, the sooner the rematch happens, in my opinion, it favours Conor Benn, because he's the younger fighter who's took less damage and has had a much lesser career with much less experience. For someone like Eubank Jr, it's going to take a while to turn around, and it's going to take a while to recover, because that was a hard fight for him. He was shook a number of times, he felt the shots. He'd also done
the build-up to this rematch isn't just about pride, it's about legacy. Eubank Jr. has evolved into a disciplined tactician, sharpening his game under Bomac's guidance and proving that composure beats chaos. Conor Benn, meanwhile, is fighting to reclaim credibility after bruising headlines and brutal sparring stories. This isn't just another domestic rivalry, it's a test of mentality, precision, and heart. If Eubank dominates again, he cements himself as Britain's most composed technician. But if Ben somehow pulls it off, it rewrites his entire career. Every jab, every feint, every exchange will decide who truly owns the spotlight in British boxing. Who are you backing? The reinvented Eubank Jr. or a reborn Conor Benn? Drop your thoughts below and join the debate.